Welcome back to the Silver Surfer. I'm still Drunken Dan, I think.
You know what? It's been a great week for hating games that haven't even come out yet.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Which one? Because there's two, actually. One that's
Oh.
personal. Have you not heard about The Last of Us 2 leaks?
Oh, I know all about The Last of Us 2 leaks.
I just find that funny. It's just, man, I've never seen, like, the desire for a game, like, drop so low so quick.
Yeah,
And I guess
I
I guess
have
that's what
not.
happens when it gets leaked that your game's about the entire game's premise is, oh no, this evil anti-homosexual Christian cult beat a lesbian to death.
Time for lesbian torture porn!
Yeah, and you're sat there like, did David Cage write this?
You know?
'Cause
Oh yeah, you know what's funny? That actually reminds me. Neil Druckmann said that this game that he made him cry.
I mean, he also made his employees cry, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it says a lot when Troy Baker needs to go and go, yeah, okay, guys, I know, but don't. Just give it a chance.
Please.
You're like Troy Baker, just don't do anything, just stay out of this. Because if you get in shit,
He was probably told to.
the problem is,
Yeah,
if Troy
they're
Baker,
probably like salvage this somehow. We order you.
yeah, I know, but the problem is if Troy Baker gets in some shit, that means that some other VA is gonna have to rise up, and that means we'll have to find a new Matt Mercer.
But we have Matt Mercer.
Yeah, but then Matt Mercer will become too popular and big, and he won't be able to be in stupid little shit anymore. So then we need to get someone else to be Matt Mercer. Who really?
But we have Matt Mercer.
Who wants the new Matt Mercer?
I don't know.
Exactly. So yeah, Last of Us 2 is a bit of a dumpster fire.
I'm just glad that I was never into Last of Us.
I mean,
It looks really bad, and it's also a game continue. It's a game. It's the first game to continue a trend that has been in like television and movies of making a genre series and then just throwing out the entire genre.
being a zombie series, and then it's not zombie. It's not really about zombies though.
Or a fantasy series
Look.
and getting rid of all the fantasy.
Look, I've thought about it a lot, and I don't hate Mass Effect. I think the first game's all right. What I realize is the problem, and it's what I call the Gurren Lagann effect. Where, so I think I've mentioned this before on the recording before, where the idea is lots of people who have never seen like mecha stuff in the past or like the stuff it's referencing see
Like the
Gurren
super robot stuff.
Yeah,
basically.
they see Gurren Lagann
Specifically
like,
that.
but they see they see Gurren Lagann like, oh my god, I've never seen anything like this. This is cool, and oh, Gurren Lagann's great because it's all this. It's like, yeah, it's like a throwback to all these other really cool things. Maybe you should check them out. No, but Gurren Lagann's is the best though. And it's like, but you've not even seen any of the others. No, but fuck you, Gurren Lagann is number one.
No, but it's the newest and shiniest. So
but it's the newest and
that's all I care
shiniest and it's
about.
the best. Well,
It's like it's basically the equivalent of the Disney's first ever gay or whatever character they're deciding to do this time is their first ever.
yeah.
First ever female lead in an action movie, and it's like, wait, but wasn't there? No, shut up.
First ever female superhero movie. Oh wait, shit, can't say that one. But
Yeah, Disney themselves didn't say that, but outlets tried to say that. I'm like, oh, what? Wait, you guys forgot about Wonder Woman that quickly? It was a good movie though.
but like the real
That's their
problem.
own fault. It's because they waited so damn long.
Well, it's also Justice League is a bit of trash fire as well. But I say a lot of trash fire.
Okay, so we get to the carrier.
But my main point was, and I'm going to steal a friend's term for this, is that Last of Us is a game for people who don't play games. And it's the game where it's a kind of game which, for storytelling wise or whatever, it's fine. Like, hey, look, it's a dad who is sad because his daughter is dead, and then he finds a girl who is more or less the same age as his dead daughter was. And then he can replace her, and that's how you do character stuff.
Replacement goldfish.
Like, yes, it's like I mean, we've not seen. This is like a basic fucking story premise. I have my own things about. I genuinely dislike the trend of sad dads in gaming, but that's neither here nor there. But the point is that Mass Effect, fuck. Well, I mean, Mass Effect has its own problems, but Last of Us issue is more just because it got so overhyped and built up for being this sort of almost run of the mill game. Like, it doesn't really push any boundaries or do anything
No.
interesting. And it's like, for what it is, it's fine. But like, I've never cared enough to go back and play it again. And yeah, I'm not even so. It's just I was never excited for Last of Us 2 because it's like, well, I don't think there's any story left to tell, and it turns out I was right. Now you got Christian cults like beating lesbians to death, and you're like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like in the sort of fungal zombie apocalypse, you wouldn't have a Christian cult. They'd probably all be a bit like, what has God
you'd
to
probably
say
have a
this?
Christian cult, but like
Anti-homosexuals. You'd
I
think
think they would be a little bit more busy with the zombies, but then again, they got rid of the zombies, so
so.
they forgot they were a thing.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's going to be dogs in the game that'll attack you, but when you shoot them, the owners will call out their name and be sad, and you'll have to deal with it.
I don't give a fuck. Fuck that dog. It's a human shoot dog world, Zan.
You know, this is a good look for you.
You give me a dog right now, and I'll put a gun to its head, and I'll go home and I'll sleep like a baby.
Oh, good. I'm so glad one of the AI characters did not enter the fucking vehicle again.
It was just a suggestion.
But yeah,
Don't get all bent
and
out.
the other thing that I want to talk about, because I actually did briefly mention it last week with the announcement of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because I hadn't looked into it, because why the fuck would I? It's Assassin's Creed. I don't genuinely give a shit about the series anymore after I dropped off. And then like I saw a press release for it, and I was like, what? And then I read it, and I read it again, and I read it again. It's like, this isn't real. This can't be real. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is really wrong. Okay, fuck this noise. I'm mad now. Who's mad?
For which game again? Sorry, I'm trying to...
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh, yeah, he's really annoyed about the Vikings.
I'm fucking furious about this one in particular, because it starts off with the press release of, and I quote, the Vikings face violent opposition from King Alfred of Wessex. And it's like, I'm sorry, what? And then you're like, oh, but you're having to play as a Viking, and the Vikings are being tormented by those nasty British people. And I'm sat there and I'm like, that is so disgustingly far from the truth and misrepresenting what happened, or the most common theory as to what happened. It's actually really offensive and borderline racist. Not borderline, it is racist. So it's like, for those that don't know, because I accept it's a period of history that's not super well known.
Okay, I can't succeed this because the idiot got into the wrong helicopter and he's too slow to follow with this thing, so we're just gonna ram it into the ground.
So what happened? And there are lots of theories, because this is sort of part of the whole idea of the Dark Ages, which are called Dark Ages not because there was like technology was backwards or anything. It's because literally no one wrote anything down. So there's just a lot of extrapolation. But you have two leading theories. One, that there was a actual series of colonies by the Vikings, which, while they're involved in small skirmishes, was not a huge invasion. And certainly there was evidence of trading and intermingling between native Britons and these colonies. So, you know, yeah, under oppression, I guess. And then the other more accepted, like, traditional story is a bunch of Vikings came over to Britain in 896 or something, and murdered, pillaged, raped their way across the country until Alfred the Great united Britain and drove the invading force off. Who Alfred the Great, I should also point out, is a reformist, or was a reformist. He literally reformed the education and judicial systems to make them more accessible for the common people. But,
Yeah, but those Vikings, though.
Yeah, but those
You know what? Though you're right, but for some reason I just think of this fucking post I saw yesterday where it was a picture of Palpatine and a picture of Chancellor Palpatine, and where it says it was like Britain according to English books. I love democracy. England according to every other history book, and it's just Palpatine
That is
laughing maniacally.
fundamentally inaccurate. Our history books do pull no punches in the things that we did. That's why I take offense to the fact that one of the few conflicts that you can sort of
I don't know. The person who posted was from England, so I don't know. I never had an English book though.
I literally studied history at university level,
Don't look at me. I don't fucking know.
and everything was like, yeah, we did this.
I'm not from England.
I'm baffled at that argument, because I literally studied history and was just fat and the history class I went to was, yeah, here's this place in the world, here's how we ruined it. And it's like, as I said, it bothers me that it's like one of the few conflicts where you can unequivocally say, yeah, the British did nothing wrong. But no, the Vikings are this peaceful, nice people.
They definitely wanted to use Vikings because of the fact that
because Norse stuff is popular. Because you have that TV show
right now
Vikings.
it's popular.
You have the Thor movies, which might have contributed to it. You have fucking God of Thor, which is also Norse stuff. Like, Norse stuff is a popular trend now because it's a brand new. It's not brand new, but it's something that people can mine for ideas. Because we've all done Greeks to death.
Time to do the Norse again.
Yeah. So it's because Vikings are cool, and I'm not opposed to that idea. I'm just opposed to the massive misrepresentation of historical figures, which wouldn't even bother me so much, except for previous Assassin's Creed games have been incredibly nice and generous to certain historical figures, the founding fathers. It's okay. George Washington's an all-right chap. He does not a slave owner or anything like that.
No. He's
Did do
the
any of that?
bestest person in history.
Okay.
I just gotta remind you, never forget that these are French games.
No, I'm not even gonna take. I'm gonna be the bigger man and not say it's because they're French. I think it's just because they would actively because here is the line of thought with this whole Valhalla problem, or the whole problem with Valhalla's like camera focus and the end, what it's choosing to represent. Is it basically puts you in the position that Ubisoft is telling you that they would much rather you sympathize and resonate with murderers and rapists and butcherers, like some of the most violent warriors in history, as far as we're aware, than accept that the British were okay. Like, that is literally what you're being told, what this game is trying to put forth, and I find that really disheartening. I fucking shudder when we get to Assassin's Creed set during World War II, and then they reveal that Winston Churchill was actually secretly Hitler.
Probably. Yeah, they're working together,
it.
but
Yeah. I find
some combination of secret assassins stopped the British from,
I fucking love how the French Revolution won. It's like, oh yeah, the revolutionaries, they were all just people who were fighting against the pressure from the nobles. And it's like, yeah, that did happen. You know what also happened? A whole bunch of people got fucking brutally murdered for very stupid, petty reasons. So, but no, it's fine. They all get to be white. The whitewashing goes heavily in their favor. So there's local heroes, but meanwhile, Alfred the Great gets to be turned.
Oh
into
god,
the grand
I'm sorry. I'm distracted by the fucking dialogue because since I picked the voice that you picked,
yes.
he almost breaks cover because he started saying bloke. It's that part where you're sneaking onto the stag base.
He gets it. It's like. But it just fucking bothers me. And it's like, it really bothers me just because it's like, and as I said, it might be one thing if it wasn't like a really under a period of history that wasn't quite so relatively unknown. So for a lot of people, it's just going to be their experience with that, and I dislike that it's misrepresenting it in such a really disturbing way.
Bloody Vikings!
I mean, the worst part is, we fucking beat them. It's like, we won that war, so... I even showed it...
That was your mistake.
I even showed it specifically to a Danish friend of mine, and he was like, yeah, that is bullshit. So it's like, even the fucking Vikings agree that it's bullshit what Ubisoft is doing.
Well, don't you... you know what's funny? I've seen... Oh, wait, I can pick one of these, vehicle or weapons. Satchel charges... A hover bike.
Yeah, you want the vehicles. Satchel charges.
Or the tank .2. Well, I mean, either the tank or the bike. I kind of like hover bike.
The bike is better. Get the bike.
But,
yeah, you were saying?
what was I going to say?
Something about Vikings.
Oh yeah, there's people like now online for some reason are trying to say like, oh yeah, Vikings were very accepting of gays and transgender people, and I'm like, what?
I mean,
even
in the sense that they kind of murdered and pillaged and raped everyone equally.
That's true. You know what? I didn't think of it like that. You're right.
You're
They
free
were.
to you're free to believe any religion you want. Just remember that you will get an axe in the back of the head.
Just remember you'll die to a man while a man screams, "A hinge here!"
So, you know, on that sense, yes, they were very accepting by being unaccepting of everyone who wasn't them, because by a lot of historical accounts, they were like roving psych. They were like
They were trying to be like, "Oh no, they welcomed them in their ranks." No, they didn't.
Well,
No.
as I said, common stories for over here for when the Viking days.
Viking women? Yeah, there were a couple, but gays, no, we'll kill you.
I mean, the other thing to remember is like literally stories of monks being butchered in their monasteries by the Viking horde when they came. So I'm just saying it's one of those things where it's like you're really, really, really backing the wrong horse in terms of this, and it just feels incredibly skeevy. Like I always think of it. Imagine how pissed people would be if like you had a rendition of the film Zulu that was like, yeah, the British were 100% right to invade and conquer Africa.
I'm sorry, what happened?
I said, imagine if you had something like the film Zulu, but it was like put in the perspective of the British did the complete right thing of invading and taking over Africa and conquering it. Like, everyone would have so much outcry about that, but in this instance, it's like, and it even feels disingenuous because everyone always talks about British imperialism because, you should. There are lots of shitty things the British Empire did. No one ever talks much about what French imperialism did, apart from the fact that we beat them. Like,
it's not like the French almost conquered the world once.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. No one ever talks about all the horrible, evil shit the French Empire did until we told them to fuck off, and they did. So it's just disingenuous, and I dislike it.
I mean, I agree with you.
And I do agree with me, but I want everyone to agree with me, and I want us to unite and destroy Ubisoft.
No.
That is my plan. My hope, my dream of creating a united world is one that destroys Ubisoft. That is our common enemy. That is our giant space squid. Ozymandias missed the fucking trick. He should have just made Ubisoft.
Listen, Frank Miller can't do a whole lot.
Frank Miller?
Didn't Miller do,
Watchmen?
Oh, wait, no, I'm mixed up on
No,
that.
Watchmen's way too competent for Frank Miller.
Wait, yeah, no, wait, I got people mixed up for some reason.
You're thinking of Alan Moore.
Miller is the fucking Dark Knight guy.
Dark Knight Returns, and amongst
where
other
he made, that was his one good story.
The one good book he did, and the one whose coattails he's been riding forever. Everything else he touches is basically trash.
Yeah.
No, you're thinking of Alan Moore, who is actually a crazy man.
Pretty much, yeah. He's just like this weird, reclusive weirdo.
This weird, reclusive British guy
who hates all his work except the
Watchmen. He hates everyone who adapts he hates every adaptation of his work except for that one episode of Justice League Unlimited, which he said was okay. Or he said he had nothing against it particularly, or something. And then, like, he's busy worshipping a snake god. And getting comics of old ladies in the nude done. It's all legit. Alan Moore's a crazy man. And then, bizarrely enough, he worked for Rob Liefeld for years.
Rob Liefeld was the sane one in the room.
Well, apparently, I don't know what happened, but somehow they got into contact and, like, Alan Moore owed Rob Liefeld a favor, so he worked on a comic. I think it was Superior. That was under Liefeld's branch of Image Comics.
Right.
Before that all got bought out by DC, and Alan Moore famously hates DC, hates them a lot. But when he got bought out, he was like, "Okay, look, guys, I'm willing to work with you, but just leave me the fuck alone. Let me just make this comic, and we'll just let bygones be bygones." And the DC was like, "Yeah, sure, you get full creative freedom, whatever." And then they started micromanaging, and they just fucking quit because.
Yeah, you get full freedom until we stop caring about what you just said.
Until you don't. So, and then
which is pretty on brand for DC Comics, to be honest.
pretty much Bravo Comics in general.
Yeah. Yet they, except for unless you're a really bad writer, then you have full carte blanche to do anything you want, Bendis.
And Miller.
Yeah.
They let Miller do whatever he wants for some.
They let
baffling
Miller
reason.
and Bendis. Miller and Bendis are very similar in the regards of they did one good story or one good comic, and that's it.
And you ride the coattails of that forever.
But that's because they both are the same way. Because Bendis had the fucking Ultimate Spider-Man. This motherfucker had Dark Knight, and that was it. Everything else they made was shit.
Doesn't explain the outliers like Rob Liefeld, who to my mind is the only thing he ever did of note was he invented Deadpool, but not really invented Deadpool.
Not Deadpool in the way that we know him.
I mean, even then you can't say he was invention because it's just flat out stolen from Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Like,
Because he's first pitched it to DC, and they're just like, that's just Deathstroke.
literally just Deathstroke. Look at this. They're the same. He's Slade Wilson and Wade Wilson. Fuck off, Liefeld.
I remember when Injustice came out, and people started to realize Deathstroke was a thing. They're like, why did DC just copy Deadpool? And I got actively angry.
Like, no, he was first.
I mean, the best I've ever heard is someone asking, what is a Deadpool anyway? And someone says it's where you practice your Deathstroke. Which, you know, that got me, I won't lie. But yeah. I don't know. I like Dark Knight Returns, but I also don't like it because of everything that comes after it and basically
Right.
giving Frank Miller a career.
No, I can understand that.
But it's just forever tainted because it's got those words written by Frank Miller on it. So,
Frank Miller, like I said, they both made one good book, and that was it. And that made their careers. They had those one good books, and they've just been writing them ever since. And for some reason, because of that, you'll have people that will argue with you, but like, no, they're actually really good writers, though.
somewhat as a segue, he also worked on RoboCop, specifically RoboCop 2, which is a segue to say, hey, Mortal Kombat trailer with RoboCop in it.
Oh, yeah.
That did happen. Okay, moving on now.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Man,
that
what
they were
did
doing
Mortal...
that.
It just feel weird that Mortal Kombat is now suddenly the cameo fighting game.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have the memes that, like, Soul Calibur had.
That's...
You know what it reminds me of? Actually, thinking about that, because the one that becomes the true cameo gamer is the, or like the true, like, haha, I'm in everything. Never is the one with the memes. Because, like, Dante was in that one fucking game, and he's the meme one. Shovel Knight's literally in fucking everything.
Wait, which fighting game is Dante
No meme.
in?
Remember the fucking meme we're featuring Dante?
Oh yeah, where he was in Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne.
Yeah. And that's where that meme came from. And because, you know, he had several cameos at the time because he was in Beautiful Joe and shit like that.
It was in the PS2 version of Beautiful Joe specifically, yes.
Yes. But, so that became the meme because of that. Meanwhile, though, Shovel Knight's literally, like, in more games than he's starred in. No meme.
Yeah, well. It's because Shovel Knight...
No meme about that.
Because Shovel Knight gets to be in Smash and Dante doesn't.
He's an assist trophy, but still, it's more than Dante's got.
It's more than any Devil May Cry's got. Which, to be fair, until literally, like...
Shovel Knight's a pretty mid-game, honestly.
Yeah, it's fine for what it is.
It's better when you play as as anyone who isn't Shovel Knight.
Yeah. No, I never had a problem with Shovel Knight. It's a game that exists and I enjoyed it.
My favorite part about Shovel Knight is if you do a standing melee attack, you get pushed back, which is really great if an enemy's near a pit. Very good design.
But I mean,
Very good.
But yeah, I don't know why Mortal Kombat is suddenly the big old crossover fighting game now. Because, I mean, Street Fighter have sort of done that by stealing Final Fight characters.
Yeah, but they were always kind of in the same continuity to begin with.
Sort of. They were always iffy on it, and then now Street Fighter's like, yeah, so you know...
Oh, no, they doubled down on it back in Street Fighter Alpha. Because a guy appeared in Street Fighter Alpha.
Yeah, fair. And
Chun-Li did have a cameo in Final Fight 2.
No, for some baffling reason, Mike Hagar's not managed to get rolled into Street Fighter yet, and I don't get why, because he's like one of my
Yeah, that's the weird thing, because he's the more popular character.
odds, but yeah. And obviously you had like,
Because Maki was playable in one of them, in one of the editions of Alpha 3, that they never re-release, even though it's considered the best version of the game. Which I think is fucking
oh
hilarious.
fuck, even Tekken's getting into the crossover characters market now.
Yeah.
And you're like,
They had some really good ones, and then they also had Negan.
I mean, I can't
Oh yeah, I forgot about Noctis as well.
like, I don't get to say anything about Walking Dead, because my only experience is I played the first season of the game.
The Walking Dead is a crappy apocalypse drama featuring an occasional zombie who comes out and goes, oh wait, I'm sorry, Walker.
I mean, I know Sam Witwer was in it, and I was disappointed to find out that Sam Witwer was basically told, "Hey, you'll get to cameo in this first episode, and then you'll get like a whole season devoted to your character or whatever." And he was like, "Cool," and then that just didn't pan out. It's like, but I like Sam Witwer. He seems like a cool guy, and he keeps being in things that I sort of dislike. Poor Sam Witwer.
Well, I gotta make money somehow.
I mean, yeah. At least he was the apprentice in The Force Unleashed. Somehow less embarrassing than the sequel trilogy.
But only just slightly.
Not even by slightly, by not a wide margin, but a margin.
Like I said, slightly. I know what I said, and I meant what I said.
I guess that does bring up quite.
In fact, you know what I thought about it? Star Wars has more misses than hits.
Yes, yeah. That's the whole point. Is because Star Wars was at one point a big enough brand that it could get away with those things, with having hits and misses. Like at one point, yeah, it was the franchise that probably took the most amount of risks and did the weirdest things. And that was something to be rewarded, even if they didn't always turn out great. It's still like, at least you tried to do something different, and then stopped doing that. I was even thinking of like what Star Wars games that are like legitimately great / I remember loving. Just yesterday, in fact, it came down to original Battlefront 2. Obviously, is number one.
I kind of prefer Battlefront 2 a little more.
That's what I said. Original Battlefront 2.
Oh, I think you said. I heard Battlefront 1.
Oh, I said original Battlefront 2. Or if I didn't, then I apologize, but I meant original Battlefront 2. No, original Battlefront 2 is like so much better than Battlefront 1. It's not even funny. It's like Battlefront 1 is a tech demo compared to 2.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
Both are good games, but yeah, 2 inches it out.
Well, 2 just has like so much more map variety and vehicle variety and class variety that 1 could never doesn't have.
I think what I mainly missed from 1 was some maps and some of the maps that had on ground fighter jets.
Yeah.
But overall, 2 is just a better game, and it's the one I definitely put more hours into.
Rogue Squadron 2 is one of my favorites. I like space flight sims. I like space fights. I like space battles. I'm glad that there was a game that was basically exclusively that, and I'm sad that space battles just don't exist in Star Wars anymore and haven't for like 20 years.
Yeah, I forgot. We had this conversation before, and I was just like, wait.
Yeah.
I can't believe... I was like, wait, you're right. There wasn't any space battles in any of the sequel movies.
Well, not even the sequels, even the prequels. It's like you have one brief...
It's kind of like the equivalent of having, like, the Gundam series and not having your Gundams fight, or have them fight in space.
Well, the other problem it presents is that once you remove like things like having spaceship battles and big big things like that, is it means that the characters who aren't Jedi don't all become horrendously irrelevant, because it's like, what's the point of having a guy who's specifically an ace pilot if there's no space battle? No point for him to shoot down the things and do. Like, as I said, it's the whole point. It gives people.
Honk.
Well, I'm sorry, it's really fucking hot. I've got to have my window open. The sun's blazing in my eyes because of this. I'm going blind thanks to being sat here to record. So
That's just a small sacrifice.
I'm sorry, but you have to deal with honk every now and then.
Why are people
just a small
driving? They're
second.
supposed to be social distancing and staying inside. You should go out there and yell at them.
Well, I can't get that. Would not be social distancing, would it?
Oh, that's right. Then why do people do it?
Because
they're stupid.
Yeah, basically.
Like, what? You want a different answer? That's the only answer there is.
But yeah.
But
I was thinking of other
like,
Star Wars games. I like KOTOR 1. The only reason KOTOR 1 beats out
I still need to play KOTOR 1.
Yeah,
I have it, but I haven't played
the
it.
only reason KOTOR 1 beats out KOTOR 2, even though I think KOTOR 2 has like a better, more interesting story and characters and ending, is because KOTOR 1 is a finished game and KOTOR 2 isn't. And KOTOR 2 is also horrendously buggy. It's sad, but yeah, KOTOR 1. KOTOR 1 is basically if you want to see a prototype version of Mass Effect without all of the. If you want to see proto Mass Effect, but in Star Wars, where they don't have to like hastily pretend like you're talking to not Klingons. Also, bizarrely, they share a VA in the form of the guy who plays Karth also plays Kaiden. So that's neat.
I mean, that's probably why he got the role in
That
the
is
first
probably
place.
why. That and he was on Voyager, as we discussed last week. Or the week before.
Yes.
So, but yeah, KOTOR 1 is definitely fun. And then for like guilty pleasure games, Star Wars Bounty Hunter, because it's jank, but it's Janko Fett. And it's worth it.
Oh yeah, Bounty Hunter. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that game.
It's jank, but it's still like, yeah, you know what? It's acceptable kind of jank. I like this. The Super Star Wars games I'm down because they're so fucking obnoxiously difficult. Obnoxious in terms of level design and difficulty, but they're still fun. What else is on that list? I mean, I've said Force Unleashed is a guilty pleasure in the sense of it's not great, but there's a certain level of enjoyment to be had from playing it.
Yeah, I genuinely just didn't enjoy it.
I'm sure there's other Star Wars games I'm forgetting that I think are actually really good / enjoyable. I know Fallen Order is definitely not on that list, where it's like, Fallen Order is that weird thing where it's like, it's a game, and I can't even say it's necessarily a bad game, but it's just it's just a fucking slog,
Yeah, Fallen Order I didn't have any real interest in.
I got given it as a Christmas present, so I felt compelled to play it and see where it went, and it went exactly where I thought it would go. Nowhere, because you can't go anywhere when you're basically stuck with
When you stick yourself between like two stories, basically.
When you're stuck with
And you make your goal something that would directly conflict with the story that happens and the things.
Man,
that
I
you're
wonder
going
if they're going to succeed in restoring the Jedi Order. Maybe I'll check these films called Star Wars and see if they do. Oh wait, no, they don't. My bad. This whole game is pointless. But other than that, I've been playing P5 Royal. I'm at the original final boss, so I'm just about to actually start the new content.
Okay.
So far, still.
You got your social links up with the 3 characters you got, right?
Yeah, I did that months ago.
Okay.
Well, okay, I say the
I'm still behind because I haven't played in a few days. Like it's been about a week since I played.
Working Kasumi is quite easy. Akechi's a bit sketchy just because he has like.
Yeah, from Akechi's the one I was already told what I should be at, and I was like, all right, so.
Well, it's because like he has very specific. He's got the fewest number of days. He's only available for like 2 days out of a week, and only at night. So.
And you have to get him really high.
You need to get him to rank 8 is the max for him. You need to get that done by November the 17th. What you can do if you've got a high enough affinity with the fortune teller is just abuse her abilities. So her abilities are fucking godly. Or get it to rank 5 and it's like, yeah, you can just like get points for everyone real quick.
It's a damn shame that's the social links I liked the least were the ones that had some of the best abilities.
I mean that's the way. That's the whole point. I kind of did think it's like this whole game is about like, here's you growing bonds with people. And I'm like, I think it's kind of having the reverse, where it's just making me more of a sociopath because I'm not seeing them as characters or people. I'm seeing them as how useful they are to me as a tool.
Because like a lot of the ones that I did, like when I played the first game, because I did my favorite ones. were like the ones that they didn't have the best benefits, and I did which I learned later. It was just because I like them, and then I was like, why do all the shitty ones have the best
What
benefits?
did you do then?
I know I did the politician.
Yeah, I mean he's great because he makes it so you have a chance of just getting free shit and talking.
I did Ouya.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Ouyas were garbage.
Well, yeah, because hers just related to stealth, and it's like, well, unless you're a fucking idiot, unless you're actively
Yeah, and
trying,
I was good at the stealth.
unless you're actively trying to like raise the alarm to maximum, which there's no benefit to doing so. It's useless.
There has to be something you can use.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh, it's trash.
yeah, her stuff is trash, unfortunately.
Forgot.
Let me think. Who all did I did? I obviously I did the party members.
I mean, there you have. I mean, only Yusuke has like actual benefits beyond.
I think Yusuke was one of the ones I didn't finish because I just didn't care about him.
Poor Yusuke. Him and his pet love.
He's Yusuke. Everyone
Yeah.
loves Yusuke because
Everyone
he's
loves
so
Yusuke.
weird.
Because he's eccentric.
I just didn't care for him.
He's so
At least in my first playthrough.
He's so weird, and he doesn't get it because he's like, "Why does everyone keep calling me weird?" He says,
He's so
"Isn't
weird,
that-"
and he says weird things in a very deep voice, and that's funny somehow.
I mean, I don't hate him. I just wasn't into him like a lot of people
I mean,
were.
you-
It's literally the whole point of his character, is so he can say ridiculous things in Tomogasu Sugida's deep voice.
Yeah, I know. We talked about this before.
But the name of the
I mean, I don't hate him. He's not Morgana, who I actively dislike, and have come to the my personal conclusion that Morgana was in fact actually a writer insert.
game,
I didn't know writers insert as small cartoon cats.
I mean,
That's a new one.
I mean, actually, the cat from Trigun was the author's avatar. So, yes. Except, you know, Trigun's good.
And the cat didn't really do anything except be there and say, "Hey, I'm a
Yeah.
cat."
yeah.
Yeah.
He just went, yeah, and then that was it. And you're like, okay, back to the sheety bang bangs.
It's like when Tomino shows up on Ideon as everyone is dying.
You getting close enough?
I mean, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Yusuke is the only party member who has like a benefit outside of combat. Well, okay, I guess Futaba, but Futaba's benefits aren't that great.
I mean,
either.
Futaba's benefits are all that.
Yeah, they're all pretty. But even then, her things aren't even that great. It's like, oh, you can scan this random floor of mementos. And it's like, okay.
I mean, she also you also are more likely to get like random benefits from her in combat,
Yeah.
which is
Terrible.
useful.
It's just. It's nowhere near as useful as eradicate that whole "I'm too tired, I gotta go to sleep" shit, or just raise affinity with any character you choose. Yeah.
But
Or Hifumi, like.
But yeah, like Hifumi is like literally one of the most boring fucking links, and her ability to just swap on the fly is so fucking good.
Yeah. It's like,
Like to kind of give an idea, it's like man, some of the worst characters give you some of the best shit.
and then there's
Morgana is just actively the worst character.
And then
in the
there's
game,
a
though. I
Ketchin
fucking hate
whose
him.
benefit I so rarely see that I always forget it exists. So this whole, you can see what affinities people have at the start of combat. It's like, that's really good. Oh, it never triggers, okay.
And then you get the Royale where Morgana just tells you every time.
No, it's not a no, that tells, he doesn't tell you affinities if you don't know what they are. So, like, you don't know what they're weak against. Whereas Akechi's Confidant gives you the ability where if you enter battle, it has a random % chance of like telling you either one stat that they're weak to, strong or weak against, or all of their stats. And it just never triggers for me, so I never actually get to use that ability. So I just maxed out Akechi, so I could be like, yeah, you're a murdering psychopath, fuck you. And he's like, I hate you too. I want you inside me, what? Nothing.
I'm Yandere.
Literally, I mean,
We are
I
best
would-
friends.
I did say that Akechi only went up in my books because he killed Okumura, and that boss fight still, I fucking hated it. Yeah. Just, Like, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, Saber's... I guess you finished the game now, right?
Pretty close to the end.
So is Kasumi... maybe you can answer definitively. Is Kasumi better than Marie?
Yes.
Okay, then.
I've heard one friend tell me that I'm not going to like her because I didn't like Yukiko, and I've heard other people say that I'm going to like her, so I have no fucking idea.
She's better. I say, though, no matter whether you like her or dislike her, she's definitely better than Marie.
I mean, better than Marie is definitely better.
By virtue of not being in the game at all, because literally, I don't know if you've got far enough in it, but it's literally just like, oh, hey, here's what you remember from the first game. Now let's take a 5-minute break so we can go and have a chat with Kasumi. Okay, thanks, Kasumi, bye.
They keep her pretty well sequestered from the story until the new stuff, because they didn't want her to be another Marie, where they forced her into the story and
Well, there was
forced you to try
there's
to like her.
also there's also the whole thing where the original writer didn't work on this one, and there's that whole thing in Japan about that doing that without the original writer.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
there's a couple of things.
I mean, they say this, but there are times where they have just completely ignored the original. I think they just use that as an excuse when they don't want to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, Kasumi was made to be as popular as possible.
Yeah.
Like, they were... Like, she was actively designed in a way where they were, like, trying to be as conservative as possible with...
I
like,
mean,
even her looks and everything.
I mean,
to make
Marie
her
was designed to
popular.
be as popular as possible too, and that didn't work.
Well, what they did was, with Marie, is they looked at Naoto... So, Chie and Naoto were popular. They did not expect them to be the popular ones. They were like, wait, but you're supposed to like Risei and Yukiko. What do you mean you don't like them?
Depends
Okay.
on the
What did they like about them?
Depends on the
Okay.
region, to be fair.
The what?
Depends on the region. Risa is dead.
No, I'm dead serious. They were the most popular ones in every region. Japan doesn't give a shit about Yukiko. Yukiko would be extremely popular if this was a Fire Emblem game, though.
Yeah.
So they were trying to do it based on They were trying to do it based on their popularity and took like the quirkier aspects of those two characters and just made that be her entire character and went up and put it up to 11, and then nobody liked her.
Yeah,
and they
they-
also
yeah,
made her like
And they cast
super plot important.
they cast her like the most popular female VA at the time the game came out, who like
Yeah.
is usually guaranteed like people will like that character just because of that what's her name plays him. So they're like, okay, we'll throw in her too.
Yeah, because that's what they did with, because isn't that what happened with fucking Aisha in Zestria in Japan? Where she had, like, a really popular VA, so people liked her despite the fact that she's, like, a non-existent character.
I mean, she had a popular VA, but so did everyone else. I think they just liked her because they liked her.
Ah, because shit taste.
I mean, like every Tales game in Japan has like a cast full of whoever the current, popular VAs
Well,
are.
okay,
So
okay.
it's hard to say. If,
No, I get it. I was just asking.
Yeah.
But Kasumi, though, they were like, 'cause I like seeing like little blurbs about them making her, and like even down to like the haircut, because they're like, okay, we noticed that bang, like the eye to bang relationship is something that seems to be popular with our characters, so we made sure the bangs are like this. We were gonna at one point give her like a short undercut, and then we realized that would not be a very popular hairstyle, so instead we gave her this.
Please like her. We can't afford another screw up.
We can't afford another Marie.
They nickel and dime their fan base as hard as anyone. Atlas could afford all this shit. Atlas could afford a lot of stuff. I mean, we say they can't
I
afford
mean,
another Marie.
they. All,
People
I mean, we say this. They almost went out of business between 4 and 5.
With the mayor.
Yeah, but then they got bought by Sega.
Right, I hadn't
Yeah.
called you yet.
That was because actually that wasn't Atlas though. To be fair, that was their parent company.
Yeah.
Problem that Stag's dragging
And I actually that reminds me. I still remember back when that was happening, and the two biggest bidders were Sega and Capcom, Sega and Nintendo, and people were pissed off that Nintendo lost out to Sega, and I was like, do you really want Nintendo to own it? You
They
don't
wanted
trust
Joker and
me.
Smash, and then they got that anyway.
Yeah. I
I mean,
like,
Joker might not have existed if Nintendo owned the company. they would have been very restricted on what stories and shit they could do and tell.
Plus, also,
I don't think 5 would exist.
I mean, they were pushing,
if,
and 5 was pushing it as it was. You could tell points in 5 where they're like, we better dial back. We don't want to insult our country and government too much.
Look, sweetie.
yeah.
I'll fuck with
But
you.
like, imagine, but like, that was them dialing back. Imagine though if it was fucking, if it was Nintendo, like that entire game wouldn't exist.
Bert fucking
The entire Shiho scene wouldn't happen. Like that whole like honestly, I would say probably yeah, the entire game just wouldn't exist if it was that way.
Definitely not that first arc. That first arc was like, wow, I'm pushing it even by.
you know what?
The second arc probably. Third arc, one thing that would have definitely gotten toned down would be the failure, the failure ending. You know, where basically Makoto and her sister become sex slaves.
Oh yeah.
You knew about this?
I got Makoto being dragged in. I never got the whole idea that Sai also gets dragged in because it feels like she wouldn't.
I mean, yeah, I believe the idea was he'd force her to get involved to make money, or else he'd ruin their lives, and Sai would do it because she loves them. And it's implied. The whole reason he did it in the first place was so he could get something on Sai, because she was the one who was going after his case until the thieves took care
Until
of
you
that.
happened.
Yeah,
Which is what makes Sai start paying attention to you.
but it was all their evil plan all along.
All according to Kick. Oh god, I'm clipping through a car.
It's too late now. You don't.
I was gonna do the
You know
meme.
what? You know what though? I think I could have lived in a world without Persona 5 that we didn't have to have Joker in Smash though.
Oh, shut up.
No, I'm not even saying in the sense of I dislike Joker as a character in Smash. I just like the way I just like the character as he is in
What's the plan
Smash.
for that?
Shoot until they stop moving.
With more
Why?
gun.
Because I dislike how ridiculous he's like. He has like the Lucario thing where he's like an okay to bad character, but then like at one point he just sort of shifts into gear. But he just shifts into being like incredibly powerful. But unlike Lucario, it's not like risk reward. Like Arsene's just obnoxiously strong, and that down air is like fucking ridiculous. And his forward smash, and he has a counter that like reflects that just lasts forever, and he has amazing recovery of Arsene. It's like. It's a character you beat.
Yeah, those kill moves are kind of shit.
No, it's not. His dash is and his forward smash fucking amazing.
His dash has like a giant wind up.
I mean, yeah, but that's the point. You go in for the kill. Like, I'm just saying. I'm not saying he's like amazingly broken. I just think he's never fun. It's never fun to fight against a Joker who knows what they're doing.
I've never had a problem with that. I think you're just bad.
Maybe. I mean, as I said, I'm not saying it's necessarily hard. I just think it's not fun to fight. I hate how it's always just rebel go rebel. I hate it's just always like.
I mean, if you want someone who's unfun to fight, hi King K. Rool, how are you doing?
I'm not disagreeing. Good K-Rool just fucking.
I don't have a problem with fighting Joker, where K. Rool it's just a fucking chore.
Go grab for those. I mean,
It's not even that he's hard; it's just a chore.
that's what I'm saying. It's the Joker. It's just
Joker's not even a chore. You can kill him pretty easily.
until it gets rounded down and you die. It's just the sheer power boost he gets from Arsene feels ridiculous.
You get spiked a lot, don't you?
Yep.
Just in general, you get spiked a lot.
In Smash, yeah.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
I mean, as I said, I'm not disagreeing that I don't also dislike K-Rool. I think he has far too much super armor on all of his abilities, and while it's breakable, it's still just like, yeah. But I also think
I mean, like I said, he's not broken. He's just a
I think
chore to
super
deal
armor in
with.
Smash Bros. Was a mistake in general. I think it means that certain characters get far more reward than they should ever really get for the moves that they pull off. And the problem is it gets like justified as like, well, without the super armor, Little Mac can never compete. And it's like, yeah, so why don't we just make Little Mac, better?
Okay, somebody's getting to
Little Mac, it definitely feels all right with.
And that's the point. Is it's like, yes, it makes him better, but it makes him better because his kit's so garbage. He needs something, but it's like, it's still just But then you get into
I don't think there's really anything inherently wrong with the super armor. It's just the reason why K. Rool's annoying is because spiking him is difficult. He's heavy, so killing him with his forward is
they're
hard.
coming for you, say though.
It finally happened. They found the drugs.
No, my neighbor's getting towed. And getting pulled away by a police escort. What the hell is going on over there?
What the fuck?
Jersey for you.
That's weird. It's like the tow truck goes by with the
That is
car, and like 5 cop cars are following this truck.
Man, why would we playing the Saints Row game? It sounds like it's just Sago's life right now.
Yeah. Saints Row ain't got nothing on this shit.
Well, the cops in my town are notorious.
To be fair, though, I'm fighting zombies right now, so there is that.
Like, one time, one of my neighbors was yelling too loud a couple months ago, and one of our newer neighbors who don't realize they have a tendency to do that called the cops because they thought there was a domestic disturbance. And, like, 7 cop cars showed up because it was a Sunday afternoon and they had nothing better to do. So
That sounds like cops on a Sunday afternoon.
yeah, so I mean, my police force is notorious for just like, something's happening, everybody go there. We're bored.
Someone farted.
Someone's breaking quarantine.
Breaking quarantine in my town?
Yeah.
So we have to break quarantine. Well, we'll teach ourselves a lesson next.
I mean, we're not really under quarantine here. It's more like a voluntary thing.
It's voluntary.
And, like, certain businesses are shut.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, they just reopened, like, reopened fucking beaches, though.
They did?
Yeah.
In Jersey? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no beaches in my area, so that's probably why I didn't know, but still.
Beaches and parks have been reopened with certain restrictions.
That you can't go. That's the restriction.
I mean, a lot of restaurants that were supposed to
So,
should
the
have been open were closed for the entire month of April anyway for some reason. They just reopened now.
The restrictions were... let's see, the restrictions, they were, fucking... Get the fuck away from me, all these goddamn zombies. Let's see here, for beaches, I know it's, you can fish, you can swim, you can walk, you just can't sit still.
So you can't chill on the beaches. You can walk on the beaches, but you can't just hang there.
Beaches, right?
Beaches, yeah. Beaches, am I right?
Sneeches on the beaches.
Beaches and whores.
And I think park restrictions are something similar, like the playground equipment is still shut. You can do the walkways. The toilets are closed off.
Yeah, a lot of
Saying
public
that.
bathrooms are closed, which people aren't happy about because like, what's the point of the whole point of a public bathroom is to have a bathroom if you're out in public.
I mean, it's not as if people using public bathrooms were already at risk of getting infected by something anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I think? I think, fuck it, just shoot them all. Let God sort it out. I'm bored of it all, you know? I'm getting cabin fever and there's no musical number to accompany it.
No, there's just
I was thinking the same fucking thing. I got cabin fever, it's burning in my brain.
I don't remember the song enough to contribute, so sorry.
I mean, I watched it not too long ago, remember, so I can...
Yeah, mostly just trying to grind through Persona 5, so once I finish with Royal, I can go and replay some other stuff. So it feels bad to say it like a chore, but it kind of is. When there's not really new content, it's just kind of yeah.
For me, since I only played it once, it's fine.
Look,
I
it's
hadn't played it in like a year, so I was like, okay. This
Yeah, I haven't played it. I didn't play it since it came out.
oh look,
so-
it's Igor, but it's not really Igor. You were trolled. And
I mean, yeah, we know the plot beats.
Yeah, but I
that's-
just- I get-
you replay a game with a story, that's gonna fucking
I forget if I
happen.
mentioned it on.
Hey, I can't believe this movie.
I forget if I mentioned it before, but it actually occurs to me that the problem with doing that Igor twist, which is a great twist. But the problem with doing it is means they can now actually never recast with Igor.
People think that like people think they never wanted Igor to be in Persona Pass 2 anyway, but like one of the people on staff insisted. So this is now that the entire staff has been switched out, they're just going to like get rid of him.
Oh yeah, because there's gonna be the next game's gonna have a new like writing team and all that shit.
Yeah.
Just bring
So,
back the
See
Lamon.
how,
Yeah, they think that like they never
would be nice.
they never really wanted him to begin with, so that's why they never recast him because it was just listen. A lot of people said whenever they say they're not doing something out of respect, that's usually just an excuse for they just don't want to do it.
sometimes not. It's Japan.
Also, sometimes, and by sometimes I mean a lot of the time.
Though they've been looser with it these days. I've noticed with Japan.
And also, sometimes by sometimes I mean a lot of time. Atlas are fucking liars. Remember when Persona 5 was going to be as different from Persona 3 and 4 as it was from 2?
Yeah,
I don't think
they
they
did
said that.
very early in marketing. They did, but once the actual footage for the game came out, they dropped that.
Oh, from what I understand.
I think they
From what I
might have
understand,
actually
too.
wanted to do that, but then like because of everything that went on.
So, from what I understand, what happened with the development of that game was originally the game was going to be like a globe-trotting game, and then after the tsunami thing, they completely changed the game.
Well, yeah, because when the tsunami happened, everyone was like, "Oh, right, government sucks." Whoops.
Yeah. It was a combination.
So that
of,
was what
it
they're
was a
originally
combination
gonna
of.
do.
I think it was a combination of everybody wearing, everybody in Japan realizing, like,
But they,
just that their society has some serious problems after all. Another part of it is it took so damn long for them to get the production started that by the time the game came out, it was the 20th anniversary of the franchise. So they were like, "Oh, I guess we shouldn't do everything completely different when we're supposed to be honoring 20 years of Persona." That's why, like, even though it's a 3 and 4 like game, some of the story beats and some of the mechanics are kind of reminiscent of the first two with like the guns and cognition and everything. So that might have been their plan originally, but like all their problems just kind of ruined that. So we'll see if they go back to that now, or if they're like, no, we'll just make Persona 4, but with a different skin again. I mean, that's kind of what it is.
yeah.
Not really.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of parallels you can draw.
I mean, yeah, but you can do that with 3 as well.
Yeah, but I would say that things like Morgana
I liked
Like-
it more.
significantly more similar than, like, say, Teddy and Koromaru, who would be the P3 equivalent.
Well, I mean, yeah, because they both have that kind of character. Though Morgana is.
There's also like,
I gotta replay it because I feel like Morgana was worse.
more than Teddy. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, he's a worse person than Teddy, but like,
I guess
There's still-
Teddy's more like actually annoying than Morgana is, but like Teddy also doesn't really matter into the story.
It also felt like when Teddy was being annoying, he got treated more like he was being annoying.
Yeah, that's
in the
true.
story.
When he gets annoying, they're like, "Oh, shut
Where
up." Teddy.
Morgana is annoying, and they're just like, "Nah, it's fine."
It's like, "This is cool, Morgana. We love you." Like Teddy doesn't interrupt the story for several days at a time because he's being annoying.
Or hijack an entire character's introduction,
Yeah.
and kneecapping the character for the entirety of the game.
But a lot of that is because there's just less characters in general. In 4 than in 5. I think 5 just had too many characters.
yep.
Destroy the virus, or save the virus. I can get zombie homies or SWAT homies.
Well, okay.
But it is for the
Okay.
mayor, and the mayor in this game is.
Yeah, but think very carefully about what that quest is in the current times we're living in. You really want to be that guy.
You're right. Let's destroy the virus.
You don't want to.
You are
Otherwise,
correct.
we'll just have to start calling you Umbrella,
And besides the mayor of this game is really cool.
but Reynolds or something.
Yes.
That was a very obscure quote I was doing. Sorry. By obscure, I mean it's the one Adam Sandler movie that's good, Happy Gilmore, where he
True.
literally says, "Whoa, it must be Burt Reynolds or something" when a limo goes by. And I don't know why, but that's always been like, yes, that is Burt Reynolds' contribution. He got a passing reference in a pretty good comedy film that is tainted by Adam Sandler being in dog shit afterwards.
Zombies and Monica Hughes?
Adam Sandler destroyed Pacific Rim. I mean, before Pacific Rim destroyed itself.
Oh,
I
God.
I can't even really hold that against him anymore.
Not after the fucking sequel. No.
It was. I mean, first we were like, "Damn it, you ruined Pacific Rim's chance to do good with your stupid Grown Ups 2 movie." But then, like, but Pacific Rim got a sequel anyway and willingly destroyed themselves. So okay, I guess I
To be
can't.
fair, they didn't even bring Del Toro back for that
Well, he was
one.
busy. That was always the problem with Pacific Rim is that when they initially cancelled 2 or they put 2 on hiatus, it was like at the exact point that Del Toro is just going to be busy forever because he does like endless projects because he can. So yeah, when they shit can that,
Because what else is he gonna do with his time?
that's the thing is he does a lot. But yeah, so when Pacific Rim 2 did get greenlit after the success of Godzilla 2014, just saying,
Yeah, and they didn't bring the man who made it successful
well, I would like.
or made the original
The
movie.
problem is that Pacific Rim 2 literally missteps at every opportunity.
It literally did everything wrong.
Where it's like, oh hey, you know what people like? Kid characters who are geniuses and outshine adults. And then I'm like, no. Okay, so what happens if we had all of the original cast? What happens if we get all of the sort of cast members we could get back, but we kill one of them, we turn one of them into the villain randomly? You're like, no.
Yeah, we kill the most popular one. The other one becomes a
Yeah,
villain.
most popular in the West. She was definitely not popular in the Asian market.
No, Japan didn't care about her. Japan was
Neither
like,
did
yeah, she's
China.
boring. Japan was like, she's really boring. Japan was like, she's not our view of a star, which is like go on lots of variety shows and entertain housewives because the men are too busy slaving their lives away to watch TV. So they're like, housewives don't like her. Well, she has no future here.
She was too cool for Japan.
Basically, yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
She was like, there's no future in Japan's film market. I'm going to Hollywood.
So then yeah, so then we get rid of the few remaining characters that we had from the previous film. Okay, and then all the mechs look awful, like just fucking awful designs.
We hired the guy who worked on those good Transformers films.
Like it's real bad when one of them does just flat out look like Bayformer's Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And just the fucking thing that always bothers me the most, it's the stupidest thing, is the fact it's this weird retcon they do where they're like, man, we tracked all of the kaiju movement from these like 20 years, and it turns out they were all going to the same place, Japan. And you're like, what? Okay,
Oh yeah, we talked about
yeah,
that
but it's
before.
still just the baffling thing of it's like, yes, we're on our way to Japan by going through fucking Alaska. The scenic route to Japan by going through Alaska.
You know, though, I just think about it. Mako would have never been popular in China because she's Japanese.
That's why I said she
Yeah.
wasn't popular in China.
No, I just thought about that. I was like, yeah, Japan because she's too cool, and China because she's Japanese.
Yes. That's why she literally gets replaced in Pacific Rim 2 by a younger Chinese actress.
Thank God.
Because they were like, man, we got to get
And that movie was probably more popular in China too.
Yeah,
probably, but I mean, we
the
saw
first
what we saw what going all in on China gave us. So
don't be like that. Don't be that person.
I mean,
Okay.
well, that's true. They went all in on gotta please China, and then China's like, well, no movies for a while, and we're like, damn.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like people, because I know so many people who are like, man, we're gonna go to war with China, and it's like, no, we're not.
Oh no, I'm not.
yeah,
I'm not.
I've seen
I'm not saying that. I'm not
getting-
saying that. Although I am saying China's cultural issues did make the issue a lot worse. No, I'm just saying that it was a really bad idea to rely on China as your main market when China
Yeah, but it's like many things.
had the outbreak first.
Here's what's gonna happen. Here's what will happen, right? So you get to like, I don't know, Trump or someone will be like, man, we're gonna make you pay, China, and then China's like, okay, we're gonna close all the factories from Western-owned companies and in here. Bye. And they're like, oh wait, no, actually, can you not do that? We kind of need those open, please, because we need your
That's what they.
abuse of labor laws.
I mean, some people want to. I mean, I don't know if they're going to do this, but a couple politicians are like, we should probably pull our factories out of China because if they can cause a viral outbreak like that, maybe we don't want our workers there. So if this happens again, we can just
I don't give a
hopefully
shit
contain
about
it to
Chinese
China.
work. I don't give a shit about the Chinese labor force. That's bullshit.
No, they care about the fact that a lot of our stuff comes from China, and if China shuts down, we're screwed. Because one of the reasons it got so bad here is because like, oh, we need personal protective equipment. Okay, it's made in China. Oh,
But here's the
Whoops.
primary issue with that though, is that there's a reason why everything went to China, because it became literally too expensive to do in-house. It's like you're not going to change that problem in a world where everyone's going to be in economic recession for like another decade. Like, can you realistically think? People realistically going to go, yeah, we're going to like take this massive cut to our expenditures in order to prove a point that ultimately still hurts us. Especially,
I mean, probably not, but that's what some people want to do. I don't know if it's going to.
A lot of people want
to
to do a lot of things. It doesn't mean it will happen. So, like, it's literally just going to be that everyone's going to go, man, China, why would you do this? And like, okay, well, we'll close your factories. Okay, yeah, well, you know what? Okay, that's always gone. Until someone else like undercuts China for having cheaper labor, you ain't really going to change much.
Anyway, this is where we're gonna end. I was just kind of waiting for them to go because we're about at an hour in.
It's politics. It's fine.
Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed politics talk.
There's other
See you next
There was
time.
other stuff.
I'm just making fun of the ending. Shut up.